Hey everybody, Alex Kozora, SteelersDepot.com, back to do another Talk to the Tape segment. One last look from Baltimore in Week 17, and I know that we're all over this game at this point, but as you can tell by the title of this video, this is the worst offensive play I've seen from the Steelers all season long, so I wanted to revisit and highlight why I think this is the worst one across the board from a season where there are, unfortunately, many examples of terrible offensive performances. But for this one, I thought was especially bad because the Steelers were just simply doomed pre-snap, and it certainly didn't get any better post-snap. So three things I want to look at here. I'm going to run this play through first, just to look at it. This is the first intentional grounding call. This is 3rd and 5. By the way, the Steelers are down 9, early fourth quarter. This is probably their best chance to get any sort of points. They make this a one-possession game with a field goal or certainly a touchdown and try to have some sort of last gasp to tie things up against Baltimore, take the lead and win in a game in Week 17 where they had to walk away with a victory, although ultimately became moot because Tennessee beat Houston. But anyway, more to the point. 3rd down here, Ravens showing a really heavy look. You got 6 guys all lined up here on 3rd down. Levine, one of their dime players, coming in here. And the Steelers end up running with just a 5-man protection. Both Vance McDonald and Jalen Samuels end up releasing another route. So starting with just the offensive line, because I want to isolate this video into 3 parts. The O-line, the tight end, running back, and then the quarterback. I don't understand why the Steelers are in a 5-man protection against a 6 blitz look, not even counting the DB that eventually comes here, but just these 6 that are obvious, immediate, possible threats. The Steelers are now 5 blocking, 5-man protection against 6 potential immediate threats. Why that's where they are pre-snap with a tight end and a running back, either of who could stay in, I don't understand. Doesn't make any sense. So that's the first issue. They're already outnumbered, 5 blockers versus 6 potential rushers. Ends up hurting them on this play. What the Steelers tried to do to counter some of these DB blitzes, I guess, is they tried some full slide protection. In past games against like Buffalo and the Jets, they were doing half slide stuff. So in this one, they're in a full slide here, where basically the scheme is just everyone sliding down a gap. So Filer has 45, DeCastro potentially on 58 if he comes, Finney on 42, Ricard, Foster squeezing down the pinch, any A-gap blitz by Levine here, and Villanueva on the 3-tech here. So again, pre-snap, there's nobody responsible for Matt Judon, who, by the way, is the Ravens' best pass rusher. That's the way, if you assume that all these guys come and they don't, but you have to assume that. You can't just pretend, okay, that 58's going to drop out, 45's going to drop out. You have to assume and respect the threat of them rushing. There's no one to pick up Judon, their top pass rusher, also on the blind side for Devlin Hodges. So again, you have a 5-man protection, no one assigned to pick up Judon here. You have no chance on this play. I don't know what the idea is. So that's the first element to this. Why are you doing a full slide here? Don't understand. And then the other element, and as I mentioned, this is kind of a 3-level thing. You have both the tight end, Vance McDonald, and Jalen Samuels releasing into the route. Keep one of those guys in at least to block, so now you're at least maybe 6-on-6. Maybe now you don't have to do a full slide, or even if you want to still do full slide, you're going to advance on Judon. I mean, obviously Samuels on Judon would be a terrible matchup, but at least there's somebody there. I just don't understand why you're doing a full slide, sliding away from their top threat. Makes absolutely no sense, and of course Judon comes in free and nearly sacks Hodges, who throws it away but gets called for intentional grounding. So just no idea what's going on there. Why are you releasing both the tight end and the running back? Then 3rd is Hodges. So generally, if you're outnumbered and you know that you're potentially outnumbered pre-snap, you're going to have a hot read. If you know that you're only having 5 in the block and there's a threat of 6 guys rushing, as there certainly is here, the ball's got to come out hot. And I think that's what Vance does here. We'll look at the aerial view here in a second. So Vance is basically, I don't know if this is a design or a hot read, but he knows, okay, he sees the blitzer's coming. He's going to get his head around. This is him potentially being hot. And if Hodges reads this correctly, then he could hit Vance and be able to throw at the pressure and be able to make something out of this play. But instead, Hodges, and I don't understand why this is the read here, and I'm assuming he screwed up, is not looking hot at all. He's just reading the progression of the route to the right side for no reason. He's got into this pressure there. He's got to know this potential to be hot with just a 5-man protection against a 6-heavy, 6 pressure look, and he never even looks advanced, never looks to the left side. It's just no one on the same page for this play. So I'll run this thing through again. I know it's painful and not fun to look at. Trust me, it isn't for me to talk about this stuff, but just from every level, from just the 5-man protection, from sliding away from their top pass rusher to not keeping in McDonald or Samuels, and why Hodges isn't looking hot whenever you certainly have to assume that and expect that whenever you do have only 5 in to protect just your offensive line. I don't understand. I mean, just a mess across the board. Steelers had no chance on this play. And again, this is fourth quarter. This is a 3rd and 5 at midfield. Your best chance to try to get in the field goal range, at least make it 19-13. Maybe get a stop. Something happens. You at least can set yourself up for a final potential late touchdown drive in the fourth quarter. So in such a crucial moment of the game, just the worst play call, the worst execution of the entire season. Again, 5 in the block against 6. You have the tight end in the back coming out. Hodges not reading hot. I mean, it didn't even matter that the other DB, I think Clark here, comes in on free, or Carr, I think that is. It simply didn't matter. Judon was already free. He was the first guy, and he's their top pass rush threat. So, just an abysmal way to end the year. I think this play, above all, sums up the issues over the final 3 weeks where they couldn't scheme things up. They didn't have any answers protection-wise against some of these blitz looks and pressure looks. And I know, obviously, when you have a younger quarterback, it's harder to change protections. You're more limited, more rigid in what you can call. But, man, just no answers over the final 3 weeks. Super disappointing. Terrible way to end the year. And, yeah, just really pitiful. And you got to take a hard look at what went wrong and try to correct these things. Obviously, Ben coming back will help. But just really don't have the words and don't have the ability to explain, why it was this bad on this play. It should never look like this. I don't care who your quarterback is. I don't care about injuries or whatever. You should have some basic answers to these obvious problems. They didn't, and that's why the Steelers offense tanked and why the Steelers were sitting at home during Wild Card weekend. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Whether you're watching on YouTube, follow me on Twitter at Alex_Kozora or follow on the website SteelersDepot.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.